He's back, right lane, eastbound. I'm number one in pursuit now.
Now we join in with the Missoula County Sheriff's Office, who are in hot pursuit of a suspect that took off during a traffic stop. The following was captured on two of the deputies' dash cams and one of the deputies' body cams.
39634 approaching exit 75, speed 105.
With the pursuit heading towards state lines, the Idaho Highway Patrol has now joined in the chase to help.
We've set up a set of strips at 72.4.
That works. We're about 2 miles out.
Washington probation officer called, did say that they issued a warrant on the mail.
Yeah, it'd be nice to know what he's running for.
People typically don't run from traffic stops without a reason, but finding out the suspect's criminal record, it gives the officers a very good idea why he's fleeing and how they can best prepare for his arrest.
460, he's got a very extensive drug history and in the past. 346, it says he often keeps a knife next to the driver's seat.
He's known to keep a knife in his driver's door, a no information on the weapon.
346, spikes should be just up around this curve, I believe.
The suspect can see the spike strips ahead, so he drives across the median to avoid them and is now driving directly into oncoming traffic.
Westbound in the eastbound lane, units copy.
Since they have reason to believe this suspect is armed, the deputies are trying to keep a safe distance from the vehicle.
10-643, he's now eastbound in the westbound. He's back, right lane, eastbound. I'm number one in pursuit now.
I copy back in the eastbound lane, headed the correct direction.
Can they set up spikes somewhere down Overton? Copy. Doing about 95 to 100 right now, heading your way.
The pursuit has now actually crossed state lines into Idaho.
I copy. Hey, when you get a spot for sticks, just make sure it's a good spot for your own safety, because he is definitely trying to avoid them as much as possible. I don't want you to
Updating Mineral County now to set up sticks when they are just to one lane of traffic.
Copy. Stop sticks into construction.
Spike strips can be helpful anywhere, but they're particularly useful in a bottleneck road just like this. The suspect has nowhere to go but over the spike strips.
Try to hit the spikes. Second set of 119. Okay, he's getting pretty low on battery.
Pull me your hand, now!
With all four of his tires shredded, the suspect finally gets out of his car and surrenders peacefully. In the end, it took 5 different departments from Montana and Idaho working together to bring this chase to an end. In Idaho, the suspect was charged with fleeing or attempting to elude a police officer. The Idaho charge was dropped. In Montana, he pled guilty to criminal endangerment and fleeing from or eluding a peace officer. He was sentenced to 120 months and is currently serving a sentence in a Montana state prison. And now joining us here on PD Cam to talk about this intense pursuit from Missoula County is Corporal Zach Sargent. Corporal, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Yeah, you bet.
How long did this pursuit go basically from start to finish, if you know?
I think it was about 120 miles total by the time it was all said and done.
Wow, that's honestly incredible.
Yeah, we did about 60 miles in Montana, and then we ended up going over into Idaho, and about 60 miles into Idaho before it was all said and done.
We've set up a set of strips at 72.4.
That works. We're about 2 miles out.
I became a trailing unit during the pursuit after the Missoula PD asked for our assistance. Hey, when you get a spot for sticks, just make sure it's a good spot for your own safety.
I kind of wonder if he didn't have a scanner because we actually had a trooper in one of the neighboring counties that had some spike strips set up, and he jumped off the interstate about a half a mile before that trooper, and there was no way you could have seen him.
5346 spikes should be just up around this curve, I believe.
So he ended up going the wrong way on the interstate for about 200 yards until the vehicle basically made a U-turn through the median on the interstate and started coming back the other direction on the interstate. And when he did that, I ended up getting right behind him and becoming the lead unit on the pursuit.
So when you became the lead unit, were you the lead unit from that point all the way up until the end of it?
Yep.
Now, a couple times during the pursuit, you guys were able to get spike strips down, but let's talk about the one at the very end where he's basically going over that bridge that's near the construction.
So we entered the bridge, and it was a fairly long bridge that kind of made a bend. And so at the other end of the bridge is where the spikes were. He stopped once he saw the spikes, and I was close enough to him that I was able to pull in behind him and then basically block him from going backwards. So a one-lane road, Jersey barriers on both sides, and a police vehicle behind the suspect vehicle and spikes in the front.
I mean, it's just an absolute perfect place to have him go through and have somebody ahead to put those down.
Basically about as perfect of a setup as you can get for spike strips.
Pull me your hands now.
You know, I've got to say, we've covered a lot of pursuits here on PD Cam, and I think this might be the longest one we've ever had. So good work to all you guys.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a long one. It lasted about 2.5 hours.
Hey, Corporal Sergeant, thank you so much for being here with us on PD Cam. Great job out there to you, as well as all the agencies from both states that were involved in this.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate you guys having me on there, and it was definitely a team effort. It all worked out well with nobody getting hurt, so turned out well. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you, sir.